this week's episode of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. Tekkadan officially becomes a part of the Teiwaz family, and Orga gets blackout drunk. That's right, my friends, the real reason to check out this week's episode is to see Orga get ridiculously shit-faced. Probably one of the funniest things that I've seen from this entire series. It's worth noting that this episode right here is another slow plotting episode building on the characters, but honestly, it's still got some really sharp writing, and all of the characters are still really interesting. The big takeaway from this episode is that we're introduced to the character of McMurdo Baristan, who, despite the fact that he's the leader of this, space mafia group, actually comes across as a really nice guy. It also helps that his voice actor, Unsho Ishizuka, also happens to be a very popular voice actor right now, who's voiced a lot of characters, most famously Joseph Joestar, the older version from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders, Jet Black from Cowboy Bebop, and currently voicing Mr. Satan on Dragon Ball Super. His boisterous voice acting is not really used all that much here, but it's instantly recognizable when you hear him. Now, the big takeaway from this episode is that Tekkadan is now going to be a part of the Teiwaz family. They're going to be connected to the Turbans, and because of that, the Teiwaz group is actually going to sort of act as like a benefactor for Kudelia Ina Bernstein, which also means, going forward, things could get a little insane. This could result into an all-out war, which, this is Gundam. This is exactly what we're expecting. But what's really great about this episode is that Kudelia Ina Bernstein herself almost doesn't seem like she wants to do this at first, but thank God she makes up her mind in this episode, and we can finally move on. Something else that's a little strange, I do not trust Kudelia Ina Bernstein's caretaker, Fumitan. There's something about her which is oddly suspicious. Maybe it's the fact that she doesn't really display any sort of emotions. Maybe it's the fact that she's mysteriously always doing something like just typing on a computer and we never really get to see what it is. I have a feeling that she's actually a spy. But the best part about this episode, without a doubt, is that Orga and his group decide to celebrate because they just got a brand new paycheck from all of the stuff that they were selling, and all of the kids get to have all of these delicious sweets, and all the older guys get to go out on the town and get really drunk. Orga in particular, who instantaneously, as he says we're gonna party all night long, they hard cut to the scene of him puking over the side of this railing. It's really funny, and again continues to paint Orga in a much different light than the way I originally saw him from the beginning of the series. There's also this brand new female character who is definitely going to be important. One, because she has a name, and two, because she has a distinctive design, and three, because she had an interaction with Orga. We're going to see more of her in the next episode. Another thing that I really liked about this one right here is we got to see what happens when the Gundam Barbatos has all of the different parts of its body removed and you just see its skeletal frame. Even then it looks really cool, and it's obvious that it's about to get a brand new upgrade thanks to the good people at Teiwaz. At the end of the episode, they have this big ceremony where they're wearing these kimonos which actually have the Tekkadan symbol on them, and they do the ceremonial drink of sake, and now Tekkadan is officially a part of their group. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans? Another really good episode, which unfortunately didn't have any big mobile suit action, but it had some pretty big developments, not just from the Tekkadan and the Teiwaz side, but there's also this other scene which actually expands on the character of Ein, who's currently working directly under Major McGillis. He definitely seems like he wants to get his revenge against these guys, and that one little line of dialogue he had, which I thought was very disturbing, where you can't punish innocent children, but you can punish guilty ones. He's definitely going to have one hell of a bloody rematch with Mikazuki. Mikazuki as well is also continuing to be developed. I love the fact that they continue to bring up the fact that he's still trying to learn how to read, because before they go into the ceremony, they're doing all these Japanese letterings for Orga's name and for Tekkadan, and then you have the lead of Turban who actually writes down Mikazuki's name, and he really likes the look of that, and that makes sense. I mean, his name is Mikazuki, he's probably Japanese despite the fact that he's technically a Martian. Considering that we're nearly at the halfway point of the series, I would like to think that this is the calm before the storm, before things start to get really serious. This was an opportunity for the viewers to sort of get used to all of the main characters, choose their favorites, so that they can feel really bad when they die in the upcoming battles. I just have this really bad feeling that things are going to go really wrong. It is a Gundam anime after all, and this is a series which definitely doesn't sugarcoat anything. But again, that's what makes it one of the most unique Gundam anime of all time. Its character designs, I love the fact that the Teiwaz group is based around like all of this like Japanese like theme stuff. I think that's really interesting and actually adds a little bit to the show, which that's surprising. This is an anime, but Gundam has always been sort of like a worldly thing. But this one right here is still carving out its own history and doing so with a lot of great production value, some very sharp writing, and some great characters, which are just as cool as the awesome mobile suits from the series. So I thought this was a really good episode, which had some fantastic characterization, some good animation, some good artwork, and things are definitely going to pick up from here. So definitely tune in. It's going to get really exciting. I really liked this episode right here. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but sometimes you don't always get what you want, but you get what you need. And this week's episode had plenty of characterization. I really love these guys a lot now, and I'm really going to be fearing for their lives as they go off into this big war, which is going to be coming up. So I'm going to give this week's episode a 4 out of 5. A super high quality episode with some great writing that you should definitely check out if you are invested in the series. If you're new to it, if you like the old Gundam anime series, give this one a watch. You're definitely going to see something you'll like. So if you did watch this week's episode, please tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Do you have a favorite member of Tekkadan or maybe someone from the Hammerhead crew? What do you want to see from the upcoming battles in the series and the rest of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans? Please tell me in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be able to see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!